This month it's a Dunbar double as we go out with Stephen after some foxes and then follow him as he removes some problem rabbits from a dairy farm. Welcome to Fieldsports Ireland. As they say, no rest for the wicked, or our tame gun club member Stephen Dunbar. It's a fresh early morning start on a bank holiday weekend and he has been called out to sort out a cunning lamb snatcher or two.
Yeah, I'm going to let him clear that scout. I tell you what to do, I'll walk up this little bit.
He's right there in the middle, left of the bush.
Yeah. Hey! Left or right?
Right.
I shot over him, yeah.
Yeah, stopped, right in the gap. Right!
They're not now for a second.
Moving right, come behind the scout. I see him over the top of it. Moving right again. It's going to come clear over the gorse. Now. Just behind the scout. Looking back to the shot site.
He's not quite sure where it came out of.
There he is. In clear.
Hey! Bingo. Looks a good sized dog.
Bit of camera pressure on the first shot.
Of course, I wouldn't be used to this hour of the morning. No, we were lucky there. We've come out here this morning. Farmer's been having a bit of pressure with the foxes taking young lambs, so much so that he has taken them off the hill and brought them way back down the valley. Spent a bit of time glassing with the binoculars when we came up. Never seen anything. At least if nothing else, we come up and take a look at the hares. One of them actually came in to say hello on the gate. Walked around the corner and we had this guy coming down along the hedge. I thought he'd come in with us, but he actually went through and went out into a second field. Now, 300 yards on the first shot. I know I've gone over him. I think I actually put on too much elevation, but with the mud being so quiet, he wasn't quite sure where he came out. We spent a lot of time looking around. So I took off all elevation, and when he stepped out and eventually came clear, another shout stopped him. Just held slightly on the top of his shoulder, And as you can see, the result we have up in the field here. Jason can't say too much about that now.
300 yards off stick, so I'm not gonna give you too much stick about this.
Nah, well, I deserve it. I'll put it down to a cold bore shot.
I'd say it's buck fever. You wouldn't be used to shooting foxes.
No, jeez, sure. When did I have last seen one?
We'll go up and get a look.
We will. I'm putting my bets on it. It's a good dog fox now. He's a big, hefty lump of guy. Lovely white tip on him.
No such thing for a lion for you on a Saturday.
Bank holiday weekend and all, huh? No, this will be fairly typical this time of year. We'll soon be getting pens ready for pheasant poults. This will be an area now just back down one field below us, one of the club that I'm in. We have a release pen. We'll have possibly 100 poults in that in a couple of weeks' time. I say, yeah, like, whatever about anything else, like you have your wild birds in the area and that, but poults are going to be very stupid when they go out. Like, they've been in a pen from 6 weeks till 12, 14 weeks old, they come out. So anything you can tidy up in that time before they go out is a big help, because basically, yeah, they're going to be wild enough to people, but foxes, they just mop them up for sports. They do it, especially if you happen to have a vixen that's rearing cubs. It's great training for cubs. They'll cut their stick on them very quick. Tidying them up, as I said, Tom here, this time of year you're going to have guys, dogs and vixens will cause mischief this time of year. They're going to be feeding, so you'll have hens, ducks, lambs. Tom was getting so much problems here, he had to bring him back down the valley. We will be going down because he said he had seen one down the further as well. Like, he's a good mile. Territories don't tend to be very big around here, but as Jason said, for lions, they don't come into it this time of year. You get a call, you're in a club, you have to look after your landowners. It's just by their good grace that you're in any given area. We'll see how far am I guess of a dog. It's actually smaller than I thought. Beautiful dark little fox. And it is a dog actually. Very nice, but beautiful dark. Lovely white tip. Young fella too. Still an adult.
This guy would have been capable of taking lambs?
Young lambs, weak lambs. It's generally what happens when guys lose them. It's twins that go missing. Newborn twins, they probably would have yeaned out overnight or early the day before. And you know, she's quite capable of defending one. But if one happens to stray a water away from the first lamb and the mother, yes, they're able to slip in and go, but a lamb 2-3 days old, they're very easy pickings. You'd pick them up yourself, like just walking along the ditch. A fox that's out to hunt, he would, even vixen smaller than him, if they're desperate, they will take him. They won't wipe the place out, but it's enough if you lose 3 or 4 lambs, you're eating into profits of some amount. Some guys have tight enough margins, especially if they haven't got an awful lot of sheep. Like, some guys could lose 20 lambs in the year and hardly miss them. They wouldn't even tell you they were missing those numbers. Some smaller farmers lose 2 or 3, and yeah, it's hit them in the pocket. So, as I said, I'm not sure just how many Tom has lost here, but it was enough to warrant him taking him off the ground that he had him on to bring him further back down closer to the yard where he reckons he can keep a better eye on him. 6 inches from top of the back to bottom of the chest. Your finger would span him. He's not an overly big target, but the second one caught him just nicely right on the shoulder.
And there was no point, you think, in trying to call him?
If I see him now, I'll take him. That's my motto. He was on a mission. He was moving. He was going somewhere at speed. He had left, like, from the time we seen him to coming out. He had his mind made up. He was going somewhere. We had no great cover. My plan when I seen him was to try to get to the bushes just that were in front of us and give a call there where we had a little bit of something to break our silhouette, and hopefully he was up that little bit of a valley on the field and get him to come down to us. But he came into the next field and was well on for going for the third field. No, cut my stick now. I'd been confident in making the shot first time round. I didn't. I was only just luck that he went back that way, and was silly enough to wonder where the hell had that come out of. But second one was on the money, alright. Second one was, I'm happy with that.
So in these sort of places, or in this sort of circumstance, you just kind of recognise that the call isn't going to pull that lad, and it's just a case of trying to make the most of the situation and take a longer shot?
If I'd have been, if he'd have been hunting, as in moving around, smelling, looking at ditches, I'd have said possibly there's a good chance he'll call. Like he was looking for grub if they were hunting. A lad like him, it's like he's had a full belly. I said, right, sun is in the sky, I'm going back, I'm heading on about my business. Like there, as you seen when we came in the field, there was rabbits, there was hares. If he was in hunting mode, he would have been checking around those and smelling those. He just came down one hedge, skipped across the second and moved on. As Jason said, in that situation, if I'd have seen him and looked like he was hunting and smelling and taking around, like first of all I'd have tried getting closer. There's no use calling him if you don't have to. It's another trick you have for a later stage. If I can stalk in on a fox in the daylight and shoot him without calling, I'll try to do that. Because if he calls straight off the bat and you spook him and he's gone, it's very unlikely you'll get him to respond to a call the next time. Well, not that particular call that you use, and as I tend to use the same one all the time, I'd rather not use it unless there's nothing else happening. You can see where the badgers, during the night, the badgers have been grubbing around the dock leaves for leather jackets. So much for the sunny southeast. Mail bank holiday weekend and we got fucking snow.
Through sleet and sunshine, even on the same day, Stephen's enthusiasm never wanes, and nor does his list of chores and responsibilities. It's not just foxes that are a problem when it's lambing season.
Well, we're here now, we finished at the foxes. I have a couple of larson traps set around different areas within the club grounds. The landowner here, stud farm, but she's very fond of her little songbirds around the bird tables. The magpies are starting to take over, and she's noticed that the songbirds were dropping in numbers. She just asked me to bring over a larson trap. I have it set here. I only have it here 2 days. First morning, the grey crow and a magpie in it. It's early morning. I can see the trap from here, there's nothing in it, so I'm just going to give the cowbird a drop of food and water. Leave him for the rest. I'll actually move it closer to the bog, and I'll check it later on again this evening. When we're finished here, I'm heading to another sheep farm. He was having lambs with eyes picked and tongues took out with grey crows. So I have 2 catchers over there, and we'll check that. Give them a bit of grub and a drop of water, and before leaving them to do the job and check them again in the evening. And as I pull in, I can see a lot of crows gone off, grey crows. They're actually sitting on the pylon over it here. And what I'm reckoning has happened during the night, the foxes had to trap a visit and sprung all the doors. Like there was 10-12 crows got off it here. And I'd say a fox has sprung the doors on the trap. And that's why they couldn't get in, but we'll find out when I get over here for a look. But my guess is a fox was trying to get in at the rabbits that had been feeding them. So we'll just take a whiz over and find, because there actually was a couple of foxes on this last night when I came up to set the traps. They were wandering around. You can see more hoodies going away from it there.
These are the boys we were shooting last month.
Yeah, a bit of a close up there in personal, but as you can see they're a fairly substantial bird. That one there now is a fair number boy. The hardware on him Lamb is a soft little target for those when they decide to take. Actually, for this guy, he's getting a slight reprieve. I've been asked to get a call board for a ladder trap, and if you're not quick enough, they'll do things like that to you. Come here, you.
And when you keep them in a trap like this, they survive fine just eating rabbits and drinking water?
Rabbits, dog nuts, keep lots of food, lots of water. They'll do the whole summer long. Unless they get very, very stressed. Sometimes you will get foxes coming around the cages trying to dig in. Even badgers will try to dig in, but something like that will put them under a bit of stress. But it's not unusual to go from March right through to September with the same call board. Once you keep them fed, watered, look after them, they don't get an unexpected spell of bad weather, it's not unusual to keep them for a couple of months.
With these jobs being done by people like Stephen, the farmers can sleep safely at night. But Stephen will still have to get up early. Well, thank you to Stephen for that. And I'm sure we can excuse him that miss off sticks at that sort of range, but he rectified the situation very well, in fairness. And now we follow him as he puts some bunnies on the table. So we've just come out this evening to do a bit of bunny bashing. I'm out with Stephen, my friend Kevin, and we've come down to this farm, this dairy farm. The rabbits have been doing a massive amount of damage here, and it's quite unusual because we haven't had many rabbits in this part of Ireland for the last 5 or 6 years, just with various diseases, hemorrhaging disease and myxomatosis. But there's certain pockets like this where they seem to have recovered from all that, and numbers have just exploded. Numbers that we haven't seen for probably 8 or 10 years, maybe more.
This is the first year I've actually started to see a few numbers coming back, but nothing like what it used to be. I've yet to see anything at home.
These rabbits are doing a lot of damage here. They're undermining the ditches and the banks, and they're even digging warrens out in the field, which is really, really dangerous when you've got livestock on the place. They can just drop a leg into these holes and break a leg really easily.
So this is another reason this man is not overly impressed with his population.
Stephen has his 22 with him. Not ideal for this sort of ground, sort of wide open fields. A 1.7 would be a little bit better, but that's just all we have available. And we're going to see how we can get on.
We'll get a few down here, hopefully help this man out somewhat, and have a few bunnies for the pot as well.
The Viperflex are a good job for this kind of shooting.
They're perfect, you can see. Hey, what are these bunnies? They're 80, 90 yards out. Majority of the shots there now at the moment have been 90 yards. 2-2 sub. Yeah, they're going to be a little bit droopy, but you're just rock steady. You can just keep working your way along them. It's safer as well because the goods are 5 foot taller on the sticks firing down into the ground. You're on the bipod, you'd be very, very limited. As you can see looking around, we're fairly much on the top of a hill, but at least we can stay out in the field and fire back into the bank. Using a bipod, you'd be only shooting a very, very small area. Freehand, I'm going too old for that. Guy to the left of him.
Yep.
Further up the beach. See the guy under the white stone?
Yeah.
Oh, fraction height. It's a long time since I've had to do such a thing, and that's actually have a second mag in the pocket full, and be able to chop and change from one mag to the other. I'm sure we're not done, we'll have more as it gets later, but they're jumpy enough. But what's there now will be used. There's enough there actually first for the evening, because my favourite are the little half-grown guys. They're absolutely gorgeous this time of year. Absolutely beautiful little eating, so they are. The older ones, they might be a bit tough, but they'll be used for feeding the callbirds in the larsen traps. I have the gloves on the hands, not for anything else, just purely rabbits smell like nothing else. Just it's terrible hard to get the smell off the hands. The smaller guys, lovely eating animals. Handy way, just a paunch. Give them a little squeeze, hold up high, and push down. Everything comes down underneath, and one more little pop. Clean. Let them get inside. We just try that again with the next lad. Just give him a little squeeze to get the stomach just to drop down underneath his rib cage properly. Push, and one last. Everything right down to the kidneys. The only thing left inside is his heart and his lungs. So, push down. One more. Right out. That'll do just till we get them home, because these will be skinned up fairly quick once we get them home into a bucket or saucepan of cold water.
So you don't hang them in the skin for any length of time?
You could get away with it in the winter this time of year, unless you have access to a fridge or a cold room. There's no benefit. The flies will take them away on you this time of year. But the likes of these are young, tender animals. I will be talking with them now tomorrow, the next day, like 2 days in the fridge in cold water. They'll be perfect. I wouldn't let them go any longer. Definitely wouldn't hang them in the skin this time of year. They'll just turn green on you. They're a different candidate. They're not quite as easy to paunch, especially when you get a big buck like him. All I will do, just grab a loose bit of skin, flick here. Just grab the 2 back legs, knife in. This actually is a very tough bugger. Pop the belly in. Take care not to open the grass bag. Run your hands around the back of the liver. Everything out into one go, clean as a whistle.
Well, some cracking shooting by Stephen there with some pretty basic kit, and proving that the little 22 and subsonics still hold their own. And now we go back to my kitchen to see how I prepared those rabbits.
It was a morning in June when I heard that tune falling up to the beat of your heart. Like a white rain sails from a startled trail, our eyes met and then landed so well. Before you could speak, before you could weep, I held your hand in mine. Like a shell on a beach, waiting for your reach, falling up to the mountain to climb. You came reassuring, Mother Nature's procuring. There's no need for doubt in its might. You came reassuring, Mother Nature's procuring. There's no need for doubt in his mind. And our eyes align like the sun through the pines, in a silent space, in a cup full of time. In these orderly ways, in this disorderly life, I let go of my hand in the jar. For the great moon in the middle of June, falling up to the pole of the tide. Though I've seen it before, nothing I've ever been told can touch this feeling inside. You came reassuring, Mother Nature's procuring. There's no need for doubt in his mind. You came reassuring, Mother Nature's procuring. There's no need for doubt in his mind. And our eyes align like the sun through the pines, in a silent space.
So you can see that meat is moist, tender, perfectly cooked. Beautiful wild rabbit. Field to fork, 24 hours.
I let go of my hand in the jar. I let go of my hand in the jar.
Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed cooking and eating them. They really were fantastic. Rabbit is such an underrated meat. Now I want to speak to you a little bit about Ladies National Shooting Day. The UK's Shotgun and Chelsea Bun Club are running National Ladies Shooting Day for the 5th year in a row on June the 8th. For the last 2 years, Courtlock Ladies Club have hosted the only location in Ireland, and this year is no different. Both the Chelsea Bun Club and the ladies at Courtlock Shooting Grounds run events like these to encourage women to try clay shooting sports in a friendly and fun environment, and to give the ladies in the sport a social event where they can meet up. Complete beginners are welcome to come along and will be provided with all the kit and qualified instruction throughout. After the initial meet and greet, all ladies will head out onto the range in groups for a safety demonstration and to break some clays. Those with their own guns are welcome to bring them, provided they have the required licence and insurance, and their ammunition will be provided in the price of the day. After shooting, the social side really starts with tea and cake and something stronger for those not driving, all on site at Courtlock Clubhouse. This event only happens once a year and there are limited spaces. Please book now and don't miss out. And just on this, I would say to all the viewers, if you know a lady who's into shooting or who wants to get into shooting, this is a fantastic opportunity to go along to see the great facilities at Courtlock. And the girls will be really, really well looked after, and it's so important that we encourage women into our sport. There was also some other news popped up this week about a potential lead ban here in Ireland for shooting and fishing. I encourage you to pop over to the NERGC website, link below, and have a look at what they're saying about this. And it's something that we should all be aware of. This is potentially coming, and we need to get on to our TDs and to our politicians to hold them accountable for these sort of things. Basically, EU and Irish civil servants are currently finalising new restrictions on the use of lead in shooting and fishing. The Irish government is allowing this to proceed with no infrastructure in place and with no proper assessment of the issue conducted. As I say, drop over onto the NERGC website and full details are there. And that's it for this month. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.